The Barton Bulldogs came to town and faced a pack of resurgent Wolves. We've got all the action. They're competitors who play on a virtual field. We'll visit with some of the members of the Newberry esports team. And the South Atlantic Conference cross-country championships were in Newberry on Saturday. Our cameras were there. All this and much more coming up on this edition of Wolves Weekly. From the Langford Center studios at Newberry College, this is Wolves Weekly. I'm Al Della Chica. Last weekend, the Wolves spoiled Catawba's homecoming, storming back in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter to get their second win of the season. On the strength of that win, the Wolves were back at Setzler Field on Saturday to host the Barton College Bulldogs. In their 4 previous meetings, Newberry had defeated Barton 3 times, twice by lopsided margins. Meanwhile, Barton was looking for its own comeback, having been shut out 20-0 by Lenoir-Rhyne last weekend. Caleb Barr has the report.
Newberry College faced Barton College in a thrilling game last Saturday at 4 p.m. Coming off their win at Catawba, the Wolves were ready for a fight. The Bulldogs took the end zone, kicking off to Newberry for a 30-yard run. Newberry completed 1 pass with 2 rushes, leading to the Bulldogs to take the ball back. The Bulldogs rushed for multiple attempts down the field until Jaden Floodbrown threw a pass to Nazir Garrett, 19 yards for a touchdown. The Bulldogs' kick was good, leading to a 7-0 score. The rest of the first quarter was uneventful, with Newberry rushing 10 yards and completing a pass for 4 yards. Going into the second quarter, Reed Sharpia threw a pass to Rico Dorsey for 50 yards, leading to a touchdown. And with Bryce Early's kick being good, the game goes to a 7-7 score. With the score even, the Bulldogs started at the 25, rushing for 16 yards over multiple plays with an incomplete pass. Newberry started back at the 20 line, rushing for 25 yards. With a pass for 31 yards, they got to first down. Nothing ultimately came of this, but Early's field goal from the 46 line was good, leading to a 10-7 score for Newberry. The Bulldogs started their drive, but this led to no goals. Once Newberry got the ball back, they were able to rush their way to a touchdown. With a score 17-7, the Bulldogs and Wolves fought back and forth, but both teams were only able to squeeze out field goals for their respective teams. Going into the third quarter, with Newberry leading 20-10, Newberry kicked off to the Bulldogs. With multiple rush attempts and incomplete passes, the ball was turned over to Newberry, where after a couple of plays, Dwayne Wright rushed for 4 yards to get Newberry another touchdown. The kick was no good, leading to a 26-10 score. The Bulldogs fought back with many plays, but after 2 incomplete passes, Trevor Norred threw to Jaden for a touchdown. Into the latter half of the third quarter, with Newberry leading 26-18, Newberry Kez Spells rushed for 79 yards, giving them a touchdown. The kick was good, and Newberry went into the fourth quarter 33-18. The Bulldogs started off the fourth quarter with good rush attempts for a touchdown by Norred. The kick was again good, leading to Barton 25, Newberry 33. Newberry, with a pass from Sharpia to Dorsey leading to first down, took it all the way with 2 rushes by Sharpia and the last by Trakel Murray for 15 yards, leading to a touchdown. This ultimately sealed the game with no points scored for the rest of the quarter, ending with Newberry winning 41-25. The Wolves will be at home field next Saturday at 4 p.m. against the Limestone Saints. Reporting for NCTV, Caleb Barr.
And with that, the Wolves get their 3rd win after a 41-25 defeat of the Bulldogs. Newberry took the lead in the second quarter and never looked back on the strength of a strong offense and special teams play. Quez Spell's 79-yard touchdown run in the third quarter is tied for the 7th longest run in Newberry football history. Trakel Murray scored on a 15-yard run in the fourth quarter, resulting in the game's final scoring play. The Wolves ran 40 plays compared to Barton's 83 plays and rushed 198 yards compared to Barton's 204. But the Wolves played a solid game, turned a Barton fumble into a score, and only punted once during the entire game. Newberry improves to 3-4 on the season and 3-2 in the conference. And next weekend brings the homecoming game against the Limestone Saints at Setzler Field. As we take a look and analyze this game, it is very apparent now, especially with Reed Sharpia back in control of the offense. The offense is rocking and rolling right now. 27 points last week against Catawba in a pretty tough comeback. Maybe it's what the team kind of needed to get under stress, get under pressure, and then come back, put the points on the board, and they definitely kept it rolling this past weekend, getting the big win. Later in the program, we'll take a look at next Saturday's game against the Limestone Saints. Wolves Weekly will continue in a moment.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over.
Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Me to bed, see you in the morning. With the first aid, Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really hard for me.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. I'm Paul C. Fisher, and we're just about a week away from the season opener to the men's basketball season. This offseason, there's been a lot of changes in the locker room, including the hiring of a new head coach, Marcus Kirkland. With me today is the newly hired head coach, just to kind of talk about the upcoming season and things that we're excited about. Coach, how are you today?
Amazing, doing amazing.
That's so good to hear. We're happy to have you on.
Happy to be here.
Coach, tell us a little bit about your journey, kind of how you started in basketball and then what brought you here to Newberry this year.
Wow, you know, basketball started for me when I was a baby. My father played in the NBA, and then he played overseas, played in Italy, and that's where I was born. So kind of a basketball was put in my hand as a little one. My dad's 6'10". I didn't grow quite that tall, but I was able to continue and pursue my dreams and able to play and coach basketball at a high level.
Gotcha. And so previously, before coming to Newberry, what was your coaching background like that, and kind of what led you to Newberry College?
Sure. For the last 13 years, I was the associate head coach at Wingate University. Great experience, Coach Good, learned a lot under his tutelage and really enjoyed the conference. This is one of the toughest conferences in the country, in my opinion, if not the toughest conference in the country. And so there's a challenge every night, and that's the fun part of it.
Gotcha. That makes a ton of sense, though. We know that every time there's a change in leadership or somebody else comes into the locker room, there's kind of a lot of adversity that has to be overcome to get everybody kind of on the same page. What do you think has been your biggest challenge kind of stepping into this locker room and getting everybody on board?
I think just getting to know everybody. You know, it's 19 guys, 19 new guys, getting to know everybody, them getting to know me, and us having a little bit of a different system than what Coach Taylor had. The one thing that I will say is Coach Taylor didn't leave the cupboard bare. He left me with a lot of talent. And so just trying to piggyback and grow that talent and see if we can win some games this year.
Totally. I get what you're saying. So you mentioned previously just kind of how hard this conference is. That this is something, there's a whole bunch of talent in this conference. Newberry posted an 8-17 record last season. How do you kind of envision things being a little bit different, or kind of how the season will go on?
Sure. Well, last year, you know, Newberry was picked to be third in the conference, the preseason. They just had a bunch of injuries. So really it's about staying on your knees and praying at nighttime that the injuries don't happen. I mean, those are things that are just part of the game. And unfortunately, it happened to the team last year. So really just staying healthy. If we remain healthy, we'll build on that year from last year. But the guys have a bad taste in their mouth from last year. And so that I don't have to inspire them during practice. Practices are very spirited, and they're really getting after it, mainly because, you know, of that 8-17 season last year. And they know what it's like to have that and don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, no, they definitely feel kind of, they have something to prove, something to get back to this season. What would you say is something you're most excited about? Maybe with this crew in particular, or just being in a new environment, or whatever the case?
I tell you, going back to when I first started at Wingate and Coach Dave Davis was here, to Coach Taylor, just a tradition of excellence that comes from Newberry basketball and the fans. Like, I remember coming in here and I always laugh and joke with some of the fans that I've met throughout the time that I've been here, and just saying, hey, y'all were really rough on me. Now, hopefully as rough as y'all were on us is how much you're going to be behind us. And I don't expect it any different. Just going to football games and seeing how they support those guys, and going to volleyball matches and seeing how they support them. I've been active on campus lately, and I think that's one of the things I'm most looking forward to is playing and bringing a winning culture to this community.
We're so excited to hear it, so excited to see it. And if you guys want to be able to catch all of the Newberry basketball team's games, you can do so at newberrywolves.com. Their season opener will be November 4th on Monday, but their first home game will be November 22nd, and you won't want to miss it.
November 20th.
November 20th.
November 20th.
Thank you for that. First home game will be November 20th. You won't want to miss it. Wolves Weekly will be back in just a moment.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
NCTV, Newberry.
In the 21st century, the definition of sports has changed in a way that would have seemed like science fiction only a few years ago. Once upon a time, student competition meant sports like football, basketball, baseball, and other competitions that involved physically facing off on a playing field. But in the modern era, competition has now taken on a virtual aspect with the arrival of esports. According to the National Association of College Esports, more than 260 colleges and universities in North America and Canada offer varsity-level esports programs. Producer Caleb Barr, himself a member of the esports team, and Victor Hennian recently spent some time with Newberry's esports competitors to find out what it's like to do battle in a virtual arena.
Luis on time. One shot, Luis is behind the bar. There's still on time. There's one behind your picture.
Esports. It's a cultural phenomenon that has taken the world by storm in recent years. It's new and fresh compared to its traditional sports counterparts. Esports is a form of competition involving video games, and Newberry College has their own esports teams. This program was first founded in 2019, just 5 years ago, starting with only 4 teams and growing to 9 teams, with the Call of Duty team being ranked 5th in the nation. Newberry is no stranger to the game. We spoke to multiple players to get more insight on the sport.
My name is Zachary Christensen, and my primary game is Call of Duty. That covers like every single Call of Duty. It comes out every year, so it's not just one game. It changes based on the year.
My name is Nigel Bennett. I play Valorant.
I first went to a college called Wilmington College, and I played baseball for them, but then I had an injury to my shoulder where I couldn't really play anymore, and I knew I was really good at COD, and I still wanted to do something competitive. So I just started looking around on Twitter, like trying to find if schools were picking up, and the old esports director named Ruben, he just found me and my buddy, who's also named Zach, and he just picked us up, and then we built the program.
So I came to the college during, I think, orientation. Ruben had a table. I went to Ruben, and I talked to him about Overwatch, and he brought up how all the teams here were great, and that they can all improve your skill and improve your rank, and that was the objective of the esports team at this college, to invest in their players so they can get better at the game.
How much teamwork is involved in esports compared to like other sports?
A lot. Like, you can't win if you don't have teamwork, and if you don't have good team chemistry, you just fail.
It definitely depends on the game you play, because there are some solo games, like sports games are a lot of solo, but in games like Call of Duty, like we play, teamwork's so important, like, because everyone's pretty close in skill once you get to the upper echelon, like where Newberry is right now, and so if you don't have good teamwork, you're just not going to beat anybody. The environment when we go to like in-person tournaments is my favorite part, because I just get to see everybody I know online, because you meet so many more people online than you do in person. Then when you go to like an in-person tournament, like we'll be at Ohio State next week, and you're just there the whole weekend just playing, 64 teams just playing, everyone's yelling at each other. That's my favorite part, because it's just so competitive. Everyone's so tense with every game we play.
I like winning. That's the best part about it. It doesn't really matter your skill level or how good you are at the game. Just give it a shot. If you make it on the team, even if you don't make it on the team, just keep trying. And once you get on the team, just enjoy it. Esports is for fun and where you develop your skill. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are.
The COD team's grown quite a bit, but we've lost some other teams, like the Valorant team and then the Overwatch team. Like, they're still in like developmental, trying to build up. The COD team's definitely grown, because we started when I first came here. My first year here, we got ranked 23rd in the nation, and now we're all the way up to the 5th in the nation with a whole second B team now. So the COD experts were growing quite a bit. The other esports, we're still trying to get them to catch up to speed with the COD.
The Newberry esports team was initially given a play space with 16 computer setups named the Apex Arena. Along with this play space, the program has a budget for other expenditures, such as traveling. Each team has a chance every year to go to multiple events, such as competitive LAN events, boot camps, and tournaments. They sometimes travel far for these events, just like traditional sports. This year, the Newberry esports team is led by their new coach, James Shepard. He was previously a graduate student at the college, helping with coaching the Call of Duty team, but was moved up to the esports director position. They are currently committed to building up their teams this year, scouting and recruiting to look for new talent.
Newberry College adopted its esports program in 2019, which not only gave the college a new recruiting tool, but also opened up a new opportunity for students who want to play team sports. The team is currently recruiting for the spring 2025 semester. Wolves Weekly will continue in a moment.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. That I know what you're going through. I know things aren't easy, but you still show up. I wonder if you know that we can get help. We don't have to go through this alone. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. I'm Al Della Chica along with Alexa Gambarino. Now let's get you caught up on all the action that took place over the past week. Starting off with field hockey, the 8th-ranked Wolves defeated Mount Olive in a match at Setzler Field 3-1 last Tuesday, then took on Converse in Spartanburg on Friday for the final road game of the regular season, coming away with another 3-1 victory. And finally, this past Saturday at home, the Wolves dominated the Crusaders of Belmont Abbey 4-0. With their 5th straight win, the Wolves now lead the conference by 1 game, posting a 9-2 conference record. The team rounds out the regular season with 3 home games this week, with the final game this Saturday against Converse.
In women's soccer, the Wolves played 2 road games over the past week, and both of them ended up 0-0 tie. The first game was against Garcia Newman last week, and the second was this past Sunday against Emory and Henry. The Wolves season record sits at 6 wins, 4 losses, and 3 ties. On the men's side, the Wolves dropped the decision last week against Carson Newman 8-0, but came back strong against the Emory and Henry Wasps on Sunday, winning 4-0. The Wolves have 2 games remaining on the schedule and will face off at home against Catawba on Saturday, and finish up the regular season next Wednesday at Anderson.
And in volleyball, the Wolves had 3 matches last week. The first against Carson Newman ended up in a 3-1 loss, but they turned it around the very next night against Limestone, defeating the Saints 3-1 in Gaffney. They rounded out the week with a 3-2 thriller against Coker on Friday night in Hartsville. The Wolves currently sit with a 3-6 conference record, and on Saturday, the South Atlantic Conference Cross Country Championship meet was in Newberry. Our correspondents Cornelia Witkowska and Victor Hennian were there and filed this report.
On October 26th, at Johnson's Farm in Newberry, the 2024 South Atlantic Conference Championships for cross country took place. Freshman Addie Davis finished 29th. Her time of 23:28 over the 6K course is the second best time for a Newberry College women's cross-country runner over that distance. Sophomore Tyler Shoemate led the men with a time of 27:17 over the 8K course to finish in 43rd place. Overall, the Wolves men finished in 10th place, while the women finished in 11th. To read about the results of other members of women's and men's cross-country, visit thenewberrywolves.com. The 2 teams will compete in the NCAA Southeast Regional Meet in Spartanburg on November 9th. For NCTV, Cornelia Rutkowska.
And this week's South Carolina Army National Guard Player of the Week are senior field hockey player Tasmin Bangert and junior football linebacker DeBron Williams. Bangert played a key role in the Wolves' recent win over Marville and has set several records in her 66 games for Newberry. Williams made 5 solo tackles and played a key role in the Wolves' defense during last week's 27-21 win over Catawba. You can find out more about the Players of the Week and all the latest developments in Newberry sports at newberrywolves.com. Among the other developments, the basketball season tips of this weekend with the women's team playing Charlotte on Wednesday and the men's team stepping off the season this coming Monday night against East Tennessee State in Johnson City. And you'll be able to find out more about the games at newberrywolves.com.
And next Saturday brings Newberry's homecoming game when the Wolves will welcome the Limestone Saints to Setzler Field, and the Wolves will be trying to build on their momentum after winning their last 2 games. Newberry is 6-3 overall against Limestone since 2014 and lost last year's game in Gaffney 28-24. And Alexa, I'm telling you, that was in that call, I tell you, it was almost one of the worst losses. Not so much, score and that kind of thing, but you almost felt like it was like a punch to the gut. We had it won literally till the final play of the game with 1 second remaining, and Limestone scores on the final play of the game. And of course, what we all do not like to see, there was a lot of extracurricular activity after the game, a lot of going back and forth, chasing people out to the buses and things. We don't want to see that again, and we hope not. We hope the players have short memories but they probably don't. And so we hope that's not going to happen this coming week. And, Limestone is also going to be pretty hungry. They just lost to Lenore-Rhine. And so you got two teams here that are kind of aiming for each other right now.
That's right, Al. For sure, it was very intense last year. Hopefully, it's going to get better this year. The Wolves are doing a great job, defense and offense. So hopefully, they can take this Limestone too.
Yeah, what you kind of hope, Newberry, I think once they get a lead, they seem to kind of hold, especially with the offense kind of rolling right now, the way they're rolling. And so hopefully you kind of keep Limestone out of it and not have it be such a tight game where tempers could flare. We hope that's not going to happen. It's going to be a great game. And that game against Limestone, by the way, will be the centerpiece of next weekend's homecoming festivities. They'll also include a parade at 1:30 and an on-campus pep rally at Holland Hall at 2:15. And all of this leads up to the start of the football game at 4 p.m. at Setzler Field. And if you can't be here for all the fun, Jimmy Coggins and I will bring you the play-by-play right here on Flow Sports.
And that's all for this edition of Wolves Weekly. I'm Alexa Gambarino.
And I'm Al Della Chica. Join us next time for more Wolves Weekly.
Keep up to date on the latest in Newberry College athletics with Wolves Weekly, available on Flow Sports and produced by NCTV Newberry.